I'm slightly weary of discussing current events, and this video is not about current events, but given current events, I'm always thinking about the metaphysics angle, because there's an old saying that all conflicts are conflicts not of materiality and provinces, but of mind and spirit, and that certainly is the case. Talk about the metaphysics of power. Fundamentally, there's only one power, and that's self-proximity. Self-proximity, of course, is complete disobjectification, the false identification with that which you are not, i.e. the psychophysical, i.e. that thing you see when you're brushing your teeth in the bathroom mirror there. So what would be the metaphysics of power? Because by definition, to desire anything that you can't fundamentally have or keep, and of course people have all sorts of materialistic desires. Oh, I love my camera, it's the best thing in the world, and you know, I love using it, and I think I'm going to buy 2 of them. That's obviously a type of crude materialism. There is finer materialism. We cherish thoughts and ideas, and there are people that have no conception of true power, which is self-power. And I'm not talking about some sort of new age self-empowerment stuff, but actual empowerment, which of course is spiritual. It's transcendent, and it is ontological, and I don't mean ontological as in the existential ontological vis-a-vis Kant, Hume, Nietzsche, Schopenhauer, Hegel, and the rest. I'm talking about true ontology, actually the transcendent, which of course is ab extra to the psychophysical. But these people, they don't know of that. They only have ideas of one power. You would think, even if they had a slightly wise mind, and I don't mean intelligence, because one part of wisdom is that you don't confuse wisdom with episteme, empirical knowledge. Empirical knowledge and wisdom are 2 totally different things. Empirical knowledge is centered in and goes no further than the psychophysical, and wisdom, of course, is self-proximity. Oh, something fell over there. That's wonderful. Oh, I know what that was. I'll get that later. I'll edit that out of this video. Hello? Yeah, anyway, getting back to it. Yeah, I'll edit that out of this video. People love it when I say I'll edit that out of this video, and I never do edit it out. Everybody else that makes YouTube videos, they have those little things that happen, and they'll edit them out, and it gets really choppy. And my favorite ones, meaning the worst ones, so the ones that they'll have a 5-second take and another 10-second take. So the video is really choppy and really jumpy, and it's kind of disconcerting to watch that sort of stuff. Anyway, this desire for existential power, because not only do they not know of what is true power or transcendent power, but they want something, even if they had a slightly sharp mind, they wouldn't want something that ultimately brings misery to everybody else around them, but also, too, which can never be had. I guess we think of the first sovereign emperor when, you know, he entombed all those, who knows, what's inside that giant pyramid in China. Yeah, how many concubines were there? And, of course, we have the terracotta soldiers, which numbered in the tens of thousands, weren't they? We had a river of mercury. The Chinese actually discovered in ancient times that mercury, you didn't have to do what the Egyptians did in embalming somebody to preserve the the physical body. You just actually surrounded yourself with liquid mercury, and it stopped all bacterial growth, and that's the reason why there's a whole river of mercury on the inside of that pyramid. This idea that you can keep something. Why would anybody with even a speck of wisdom, you know, want to do something that brings misery to everybody else around them, but also, too, that which they can never ultimately have? Because you can't have it, you can't take it with you. So this desire for control, this desire to impinge against natural order, and that is natural order. You know, there's a reason why sannyasins, I don't even know what a sannyasin is a forest-dwelling recluse. It's a spiritual recluse. And these sannyasins, the Pali words, they would come in every day or sometimes every other day to beg for food, and it would be put in their begging bowl, and they go back out into the forest. It's not that, you know, that they hated the cities so bad with the hustle and bustle of all the carts and, you know, all the fools walking around and all the nonsense, which of course is partly the case. You know, they wanted isolation to engage in the methodology that would lead to transcendence, but they wanted nothing to do with the evil people that were trying to impugn this temporal power over other people. Everybody's trying to get something over on somebody else. I mean, the ancient days are no worse than they are today. Today it's even worse. Now, of course, we have wicked tools whereby which someone put in the correct position, with the right amount of evil and ignorance, will want to have control over others. Completely disrupt the card of natural order. Nature doesn't work that way. I mean, a wolf pack is not trying to exercise control over all the other wolves if there's someone is at the head of the wolf pack. It's not the case of lead birds or the head of the herd. It's for the collective good of everybody. Anytime power is given to somebody that wants it, you're giving it to the wrong person. Nobody that wants power over others should ever be given it. The only pure thought of power is, what could I do that help everybody? I don't want this for myself, I want to help other people. It's the same way with winning the lottery. There's really only two types of people that win the lottery. The first thing they think of after they win the lottery, the mega jackpot, is what they're going to buy for themselves. And the other type of person is the ones that first thought is, what am I going to buy for the people that I care about? And that's so true of power. And anyway, these forest-dwelling sannyasins did not want to live amongst systems of control. Of course, laws only exist to keep the unintelligent and evil people in check. Why else would they exist? Anybody that has any amount of wisdom follows natural order. Laws are not for them. Sure, laws apply to everybody. Well, that's what they say, and that, of course, is true. They need to be applied to everybody. The one people that they're never applied to are the people that think they're above the law, and you know exactly who I'm talking about. But that's the reason why these exist, is to keep stupid and evil people in check. But nobody that follows natural order vis-a-vis wisdom needs laws because they do what is right. They don't have to give a second thought. Should I do that? Can I get away with that? There's a lot of cash lying over there and no one's looking. Maybe I could get it, right? That thought doesn't enter into the mind of somebody with wisdom because they follow natural order. This is the reason why laws exist, and by, of course, extension, the laws we have. And I'm not interested in discussing politics. I'm never interested in discussing politics. I can't stand politics. This is the reason why governments exist, to express these laws. But these people are by definition evil, and they're growing more and more in our lives. They want control over us, and we are not to give it to them. I mean, I am not going to surrender it, no matter what it costs me. It's not going to happen. You know that they're running out of U-Hauls in California, New Jersey, and New York because everybody's fleeing? And the reason why they're fleeing is this total hegemonic desire for power over others is being exercised. And it is against natural order. These people are not, because California is a beautiful state, part of it is anyway. I've seen some really beautiful parts in California. I lived up there for a while with my wife, and I've seen beautiful parts of California, but I would never want to live there. Never! Even if someone gave me a free house in California, no, I'm not moving to California, no way. No way would I live there. The taxes, the rules, the laws, they're onerous. Nobody in their right mind, especially family-oriented people, would want to live there. Everything there flies against natural order. They want total control over everything you do. I mean, why not, stick a camera on your forehead, permanently glue it there so they could watch everything you do, everything you read. People fundamentally don't realize what the metaphysics of power is. And that is that those who want to exercise it over others are evil and ignorant by definition. You're supposed to be empowering other people, not expressing desire to have power over other people. That by its very definition, excuse me, that by its very definition is evil. And the banner-waving exercise of saying, hey, I'm incredibly ignorant. I want power over things that I have no right to have power over, which fundamentally are a sin against natural order. Yeah, I know I use the word sin. They are sins against natural order. I don't ever tell anybody what to do, but I tell you that I ignore them, I circumvent them, I watch them, but they should be like children, seen but not heard. I don't break any laws. I treat other people kindly. I'm very generous to the limited amount that I'm able to be. I answer thousands and thousands of free emails, which I don't have to do because it robs me of having a life. I mean, I'm pretty darn sure that's generous. Tons and tons of free phone calls. This desire for control, by the way, the three things that they want control over are the things that dictate life itself. They want control, as far as human beings go, control over energy, control over food, control over the ability, because human beings don't have claws and fangs and venom. They want control over your own ability to, the most fundamental right in the entire universe is a person's right and their own sovereignty over their own selves and those of their loved ones to protect same. Cats do this, whales, animals, every creature on earth does this. Yet these people that want power and control over you don't want you to have the most fundamental right in the universe of your, of your own sovereignty, of your own life. Well, that's just evil. And people need to stand up and call it what it is, which is evil. It's like, yeah, I heard what you said there, but that's pure evil. Boom, boom, boom. You get to say the reasons why. They usually don't listen to you. It's like, no. I'm going to follow natural order. You have no control over me. You never did. You never will. Whatever it costs me, you're not going to have it. The metaphysics of power is quite simple. Evil is well defined. Evil is not doing evil too, which nobody talks about. It's blatantly obvious and extremely simplistic. Not simple, but simplistic. Evil is not doing of evil because ignorant people like, duh. Yeah, there's a good effect there, right? Ignorant people do evil stuff all the time. They be intent to do evil. They do it out of ignorance. And of course, everything is done out of ignorance. True evil is doing what is evil, knowing that it is evil, but loving it anyway. The true definition of evil is the love of evil. Not doing evil, but the love of evil and doing evil. And that's an incredibly important point that nobody gives thought to. I'm not a fan of any of the politics espoused by Julius Evola, but he talks about this in great detail. I don't care about politics. I don't ever want to discuss politics. People say, Julius Evola talked about this, and what about that? It's like, I don't care. Just read, you can read his great book, Revolt Against the Modern World. Ride the Tiger is the other one. There's a whole lot of books. I digitized them all. They're all available online. Thanks to me. You're welcome. Yes, thanks to me. This is an important topic, especially now more today, more now than ever before. There's a reason why those sannyasins, those spiritual adepts, lived in the deep forest, and they only went into town to beg for food once a day or once every other day. They didn't want nothing to do with all the people that were trying to express this evil control over others. Everybody's, trying to do each other over to have control over their neighbor or more than their neighbors or over everybody. And people fail to acknowledge that the desire for power over others is by definition evil, is by definition the fruit of ignorance itself, primordial agnosis. It is. It's not my opinion that it is. It is. The only wholesome desire, and of course, when they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I know about that. Well, I'm going to do this so I can help people. That's how these evil people rationalize it to themselves. But there are people that are pure that don't want the job. Like, yeah, you're the best for the job. That's what Plato's and Pythagoreans' way of reasoning is. You take 10 or 20 of the wisest people. They would pick the wisest amongst them to lead for a period of time. The guy wouldn't want it. No one want the job. No, it's an evil job. Yes, you'd need to do it. You don't want the job, which is exactly why you need to take the job. Kind of almost sounds like jury duty, huh? Not really. It's a bad comparison. Here's a saying everybody should remember, by the way. And it was said by a judge. I forget which judge. It was about jurors. And this is what he said. This is really good. You should remember this for the rest of your life. Would you trust your life to the hands of 12 people too stupid to get out of jury duty? Always remember that. Would you trust your life to the hands of 12 people too stupid to get out of jury duty? Said by a judge. Anyway, this is the metaphysics of power, the desire for power as meant, of course. There's spiritual power and there's worldly power. Nobody can have worldly power, and the desire for same is evil. And it is against natural order. And that's why anybody that expresses the desire for it is to be acknowledged for what they are, evil and ignorant. And who with a half a brain wants to listen or take orders from evil or ignorant people? They shouldn't. If you had a half a brain, you wouldn't. Well, he's the boss. So what? Let me emphasize that again, because many millions and billions of people through time, why are you listening to this evil guy? Well, he's the boss. So what? That doesn't mean anything. Somebody with he's got a title over me, he's more important to me. Well, in your mind, that's what the evil person loves, is that in your mind, you're already convinced that this person is more important than you. But they're actually less important than you because they're so ignorant that they want power over you, which proves that they're ignorant and they disobey the most fundamental thing, which is natural order. Not only are they not more important than you, they're far less important because they're so evil and ignorant. Why are you listening to them? Why? If anybody says I was angry and saying, oh, you sound so angry, I'm not angry, I'm laughing. That always shocks me. Oh, he's more important than me. So what? That's how they got to that position in the first place. They had such a bloodlust and desire to have power over other people. They don't even have power over themselves. Why are you listening to these people? Why? It is your ignorance and the ignorance of countless other multitudes. Oh, he's important. He's el jefe. Or I was taught this interesting Spanish phrase for the super important person. They called him el mero mero, which translates loosely as the one. But what it really means is the super boss. Well, he's el mero mero, man. I gotta listen to him. No, you don't. Why are you? He wants power over you. He's evil by definition. I shouldn't have eaten those 3 burger patties. I'm going to edit that out of this video. I had 3 burger patties with some nice, what was that cheese? Pepper jack cheese laid on top of it. Ooh. Nice sizzling burgers with molten pepper jack cheese. Ooh. Said the fat guy, right? Yeah, I know. If you want to contact me, my email's in the description below. Yeah, I'll edit that out of that video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.